Hello everybody, it is 2018. I wanted to say hello to everyone and read some poems to you, do a little brief poetry reading. First one of 2018 for me, let's go. Alright, Peddler's Village is the name of this poem. I fell in love with 43,000 people in Peddler's Village, Pennsylvania this afternoon, and they adopted me into their families for 7 seconds. They were telling me how to cook roasted turkey and showing me pictures from their trip to the Grand Canyon when I brushed past them on my way to the bathroom. We put our kids through college waiting in line for a hamburger. We're not going to put Aunt Fila in a home. There's no way we could do that to her. We decided to just give him money for his birthday. We're going to split the cost of the groceries for the week we spend at the shore. We kept looking for each other without realizing we came there together. There's no way we're going to sell the house we all grew up in. I sat behind home plate with season tickets for a summer with a guy who was waiting for my parking space. I ate apples with Granny Smith's dogs. When I stopped to pet them, and she said, "Let them out and lock the door when I leave." When I ran into my own family, we were either going to have everyone over for dinner, or they said we could go over to their house. This poem is called Moon Glows. Do you remember me? I had little eyes for you. I was clouds rolling along the firmament. I was finger-painted moonlight smudged on your window. Do you remember what we sang about in those little radio songs in the dark? In those melodies clinking gold through the static? Do you remember when your white ceiling was my white wings? Do you remember when we were saying, "I love you"? This next poem I'm gonna do, if I can find it, because this cursor's a pain. PM Gretchen Blues. PM Gretchen Blues. You had gumball eyes, double mint hair, 2 fingers and your thumb clutching a sweater sleeve, and the only way out of the night. You were burning leaves, black licorice, cigarette tar. I saved all your notes. I don't think I'll ever stop writing you back. This poem is called Our Fredricksburg Tomorrows. 4 years sleeping next to you, and the wheat in the field is blowing our way. So now it's time to go. I thought I heard the rocks whistle from the water in the brook, Marianne. Or maybe that was you already sleeping next to me there. And I can't get these crickets in my mind to stop dying. We'll get to Fredericksburg by nightfall, where the stars are shaved across the sky in pieces just for us, when the darkness is finally gone. All right, so next up, I feel like doing something a little lighter. A lighter kind of poem. This poem's called Get a Job. Get a job. Get a job. They set up a table outside of the Turkey Hill. The lady said to me, "Do you want to get a job?" I said, "No. Do you want to quit yours and write poems?" So it's 2018 now. Thank you, John. Thank you, Joseph, for watching. Nice to have you guys here. I'm gonna smoke in here and hope my wife doesn't catch me. She hates when I smoke in the house, but reading these poems makes me nervous. All right. This is a kind of a different kind of poem, for me anyway, kind of on the abstract side. It's called Melinda, Things I Used to Know. Melinda, red blood in the white snow. The curtains are dying, and the things I used to know. She drinks before noon, wild black tequila, her only chance to make it through summer. Her daddy's at the bottom of the bottle, and I don't know if I should get her there. And I could fold her napkin, I could wipe her brow. Nobody's speaking because summer is almost over now, and she's going to gun it down. I don't have anything to say. Let's start with that. Her sunglasses back and forth across the dashboard. She's wondering if anyone even wants to figure her out. A bridge before Canada, and the rearview mirror begins to pout. I have a bag of pipe tobacco and a pile of firewood by the door. It's autumn, and the burnt sienna grass is saying midnight mass. She says calling it fall is calling it crass, and winter is waiting because autumn lives not to last. Melinda vinegar bottles by the stove, and her hands through her sawdust hair. The floodlights against the snow are dark on the other side of the things I used to know. Here's one. I wrote this. I woke up in the morning and it was 4th of July. I wrote this last 4th of July. I was real excited to celebrate the 4th of July last summer. And nobody was celebrating yet, and it was the morning, and I started celebrating by writing this. It's called Talking to Her Red, White, and Blue Bikini. I spent the afternoon trying to get off, and I don't want to start praying to you, but I couldn't get you to drop down to her feet. My stomach aches, my shorts are torn, my cigarette's wet, I'm dying. How did it feel up against her? Can I buy you a beer? Are you making love to the towel rack? Who hung you out to dry? We get baptized off the high dive. We hear sermons by the sea. You are 2 teardrops and a piece of armor down below, a wet glint in the sunlight and silence. This poem is called And the Vicious Cycle Turns Through Time, not letting any child off to go on the rides. The 30-year-old cool kids are emptying their children and youth all over the parking lot. Dirty diapers without an owner that once belonged to their kids or maybe themselves, smelling like a hefty child support court story, full of old bags of trash with their backs turned to their children who sit feeling guilty and don't understand why. Aware that they are hearing something they shouldn't, but knowing through innocence and the sixth sense of childhood which feels God and goes to Him, that they have been chosen to be royal beacons of unfathomable love for sitting there, tragic and alone, in their unknown terrors. So how's everybody's 2018 going? Good, I hope. Mine's going pretty well. I'm tired. It's good to be reading poems, though, this time of night. Thank you guys for watching. This poem is called Ash. Ash, my head is without reason, and I want to know why. Pale exhaustion, sex, open shutter sun, detour in my zipper teeth. I saw the last light of the night go out. I screamed at you because you weren't there. 3 matches, a smoker's outpost, steam lines on the chat box windows. And I want the mist on the inside of you. I noticed that nobody is saying anything. They have barely even said hello. Have you ever watched yourself eat your own ego? God is sweeping the basement floor, and I'm trying to find a dustpan. Send me sweet laugh lines we can call corny. You look like the life I killed. My Jello Thoughts are half-price shots, and over 21 looks at the bar. I'm dying. Tell the clouds to put me back down. Let's see. I was doing a series of poems at Christmas time called the 12 Beers of Christmas. So I wanted to read one of those. The premise behind this book is each poem is a beer that would what happens at each beer that's drank, and during the 12 beers of Christmas that the narrator drinks. So this is beer number 6. This is his 6th beer of the Christmas season. Alright, number 6. I laid in her Egyptian sheets like the purple ruby of night on falling rectangles of gold. She said, "You must be tired. Your eyes are long and hidden, like you must have known the dark and the colors you couldn't find in the mirror. Here, let me oil your feet. The white moon is high in the sky and melting along the cream-cut cobblestone winding around my saraya." And I drank another sip of my sacra and wondered if her toes were honey and if my eyes could ever stop looking. And I looked at the gold chime in her grandfather clock and saw the poor bowls of her people carrying what little they had in hieroglyphic destitution across deserts that only fell as sand in my dreams. And I knew I couldn't get any farther away from the plastic nativity camels falling over in my neighbor's backyard snow and dog crap piles than right now with her, somewhere between baby Moses's wicker basket and Cleopatra's open legs. Here, where priceless Egyptian treasures were not lost but hidden up a winding wooden staircase in a one-room apartment downtown, where my Christmas finally began. Girl lighter. The girl lighter emerges from the purse like foreplay and a spell of magic that stops the BS to give you a light. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna do let's see, I want to do something a little lighter. This one is called Fran and Edna. I gotta move my phone around. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy. I don't mean to. Here we go. Fran and Edna. It's raining, so everybody went inside their houses to mope, except for the old lesbian couple. They're both in their late 60s, and they've been a couple for 500 years. They say they gave up on men because men don't care about anything. They were married in a secret ceremony in the basement of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. They laugh and say they are renowned for being the first lesbian couple to buy property together in Brussels. They live in the States now, and their house looks like granola trail mix and old Sarah McLachlan cassette tapes. They're going into town because it's Saturday, and that's their big day to spend a crapload of money. They invited me to go, which I take them up on, because they're the only people in town that have a beat in the soles of their shoes. They say they want to buy me something made of gold, closing the car door, not giving me a chance to refuse, smiling as they step through the puddles. This poem is from another series of poems that I'm currently working on. This series is called Selfless Portraits, and the idea behind the series is that each one of these is a portrait of myself if I had been another person. In other words, it's me as different people, like as a different, if I had lived a different life. So here's one. It's called Hometown Dan. This is like a version of me if I was stuck in my hometown forever. Hometown Dan. We gave each other our hearts, and now we're heartless. I went looking for you, mowing the lawn 70 years later, and got cut apart under the blades. Half my body was tan. I dribbled the world down alleys no one knows. I learned how to hate myself better than you could. That's how you get a woman to marry you. Gag me down the throat with gravel when there's puke in my nose. Bite me with your dog and castrate me with your college-bound daughters. Slit my throat with your paycheck. Check my temperature before bed. Here's another one. This one's called College Dan. Version of myself if I had went to college. College Dan. I never went to college. The closest I came was Norristown State, but that was a mental hospital. It's 1999 now, though, and I'm in my senior year. I have a food card for the cafeteria, and I'm there all the time. We sit around the couch and play Mario Kart. I don't want to clean up the Doritos, and the sky over the campus doesn't seem to be there. My papers use words that I like but rarely use when speaking. I spend the first 30 or 40 minutes of class not listening and writing poems like this, or making jagged black graffiti profanity with my pen. Or I am totally without thought, like a caveman staring at the hair on my kneecaps until the whiteboard has completely caramelized my brain.